Morning everybody, this is Doug Sprinthal. I'm at Bloomington Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in downtown Bloomington. Today we're going to do a walk around on the 2019 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Rubicon. Now as you can see, Jeeps are in a class of their own. You're never going to confuse this with a Highlander, Honda. I mean, these are true off-road vehicles, American made. And they're awesome. We're going to get into some of the capabilities of these Unlimiteds because they are spectacular. First of all, I have to explain a simple thing. What's an Unlimited? Well, it's not an unlimited supply because they only make so many of them. It just simply means that it's a four-door vehicle. The regular Wrangler is a two-door, and they call the four doors an Unlimited. This is powered by the Pentastar 3.6-liter V6, develops just about 300 horsepower, tons of torque, and it's fuel efficient, variable valve timing. It's a big improvement over the old six-cylinder engines that powered these Jeeps for years, and they're spectacular to drive. They've got great highway manners, unlike the older Jeeps, which were honestly a little rough riding. This can do both, and we're going to spend some time talking about suspension that makes that all happen. So this is the Unlimited model. They come in a bunch of different trim levels. You can get the Sahara, you can get the Rubicon, you can get the Moab. The Sport comes as a two-door. Basically, they share a lot of the same off-road capabilities, but they are trim differences. And if you check them out in person, you really have to stop in and see how they feel and look and touch. That's something that's really hard to do in a video, but the Jeep is an awesome vehicle, and we're going to keep talking about what makes this thing cool. So one of the things you might notice right away, removable roof. Hi, see me? This comes off too. Last year they made this a lot lighter. Quite honestly, in the old ones, you had to be a bodybuilder to get one off by yourself, and now it's really pretty easy. In addition to that, and this is something, again, you'll never find on another vehicle, 4 bolts, you can unbolt the windshield, it folds flat forward. You can take all the doors off. So you can really strip this thing down if you want the total off-road beach experience. There's no other car in the market where you can do that, right? Okay, let's look at some of the interior here. This is the Rubicon, so it's a nice high-touch finish. Notice the red dash, that's one of my favorite things. This is equipped, and it's hard to find it. That stick right there, that's an anti-theft device for millennials. It was invented in 1896. Yes, you can get a manual transmission in a Jeep Wrangler. That's really cool. There's only like 6 or 7 cars that are sold in the US that still have stick shifts. And we're going to get into what that can do for you in off-road later. As you can see, Rubicon comes in nice fit and finish, leather seats, stitching. If you look at the back seat, I'm 6'3" and I can fit in here. It wasn't like the old Jeeps. Even, look at this for luxury. You get a center pull-down armrest, keep your kids from fighting. That's kind of cool. Now the seats will also fold flat. That's one touch. That's pretty quick. So you can, in addition to hauling people, you can haul an awful lot of cargo in these things as well. And if you look up here, part of the sound system, subwoofer back here, overhead speakers right there. If you drive one of these things around with the top off and the doors off, you need a sound system with a lot of power, and that's what this thing delivers. Let's move around to the back. Another rarity in the automobile business, full-size spare tire, huh? None of these wimpy donuts here or an air inflator kit. That's not going to do you any good if you get a flat tire when you're off-roading, right? Safety feature. Inside here, this little guy, that's a camera, backup camera, cross path detection system. So if you're backing out of the driveway quick and your neighbor's walking the dog down the sidewalk, you're not going to run them over. It's a really nice neighborhood-friendly feature. Let's open up the back here. You can just open the tailgate for a quick load, or the glass comes up as well. This one's got the Jeep bag. This is a soft top cover for the hard top if you want to take it off and put it in the back of the vehicle without scratching anything. Jeep Wrangler comes standard, 3,500 pound towing capacity. It's a receiver hitch, obviously. This in the right order. Check these out. There are so many wheel and tire options. This is a 17-inch. But there's all sorts of accessory wheels available from Jeep if you want to customize your vehicle. Again, another look at the interior from the driver's side. Comes with a smart key and a switchblade. Now this is for if everything fails and you have to get an old school, you can. Obviously, This does not have auto start because as a manual transmission, you would blow it right through your garage and it would be very expensive, but it is standard with auto start if you get the automatic transmission. All right, we're inside the 2019 Jeep Grand Cherokee Rubicon. I want to show you some of the cool features. We've removed the center section. It's a little bit tall. No, I just like to think of it being outside. Let's say something bad happens and you need roadside assistance, or heaven forbid you have an accident. Save Our Ship button right there is going to summon help. It will connect you to Uconnect, which is Chrysler's roadside assistance program. Moving down, we've got really nice frameless mirror. I think this is kind of classy. It's got that 60s kind of look, actually. It's not like these big clunky things. Center stack here. This is where the magic happens. This touchscreen, 8.1 inches, does all kinds of things to control the sound system of your car. If you have different media input options, USB ports, Bluetooth, there is an aux plug. This is where the climate control runs, and notice you've got heated seats and a heated steering wheel, which in Minnesota, I tell you what, that is absolutely fabulous. You've got an app switch here, and I want to take a minute and talk about in the projection manager, if you have an Android phone or an Apple, it will work with both of those. And in Minnesota, with this coming legislation about hands-free phone calls, that's going to be really important. In addition to giving you the ability to do that, if you want to use your Google Maps, you can do that. It also will allow you to access Google's voice search. So if you wanted to hit one button on there that said, closest gas station to me, Google, hopefully they'll come up with the information. But it's really cool. Controls are right here. This is for heated driver's seat, heated passenger seat. So if you run hot, your wife runs cold, it's two different switches. Heated steering wheel is there also. Navigation system, it does have a built-in navigation system if you don't want to use the one on your phone. Phone pairing, we won't go through that, but I can tell you by personal experience, it's much simpler than it used to be. It's about a 45-second process. And down here, we have something kind of a holdover. If you don't want to go through all these buttons, you can control your climate manually. These are hot and cold temperature buttons for right and left side. You've got your heated seat, heated steering wheel. If all of a sudden your front windshield fogs up, you can hit the defroster automatically. And you've got conventional radio buttons. Look at that, a volume control that we know all intuitively how it works. And you can also use the manual tuner as well. Down here, traction control, which all good Jeep drivers know when you're in off-road conditions, you're going to want to turn that off. This is kind of a safety feature for when you're driving on the streets and you might hit a patch of ice that you haven't seen. The car will help you maintain control, but when you get into the true off-road mode, this comes off. We've got some media inputs here. These are the window switches, more media inputs on here. This here, now we're getting into what really makes the Jeep different. We've got a lot of options here, and professional Jeep people, I know you know this, but this is really aimed at people that haven't seen this before. We talked about the anti-theft device, it's manual transmission. I would say 80% of these we sell are actually automatics. They're 8-speed automatics, which makes them really fuel efficient. This is a transfer case switch, and it's a little intimidating if you don't understand how it works. So basically 2H means you're in two-wheel drive high. Then you have 4H, which is four-wheel drive high, and then 4L, which is four-wheel drive low. So what does that all mean? They're really gear ratios in the transfer case themselves. If you ride a 10-speed bicycle, it starts to make sense. So you've got gears on the back, which are your regular gears, but on the front, you've got a big sprocket and a little sprocket. The big sprocket is like 4 high. That'll give you the ability to go faster. 4 low is the small sprocket. That'll give you the ability to climb mountains. And these things can really climb mountains. There's so much suspension clearance here. Let's go through a couple other features, and this gets a little technical. You would want to have a demonstration of these, and we'd be happy to show you how this stuff works. Okay, so now you understand the transfer case. Let's talk about the differentials. As you can see, it says front and rear only. These give you the ability to lock out the differentials either in just the back axle set or the back and the front. Why would you want to do that? Normally you wouldn't, because on the street it'll make the car handle terribly, but if you're in a severe off-road situation, this will give you equal power to both the back wheels or equally distribute the power to all 4 wheels. In addition to that, you see this button here that says sway bar? This is another crazy thing that you're only going to find in Jeeps, is we'll actually disconnect the sway bar in the suspension in the front of the vehicle and the back, which allows the wheels to have more travel. So think about you're going over really rocky terrain. It's big rock on one side, not so much of a rock on the other. It gives the suspension the ability to get over those rocks. The things that these Jeeps can do are absolutely unbelievable. Let's move on to the driver's center. Cruise control is right here. It's really simple. You've got a whole host of options for this center cluster here in terms of what you want to display. Let's go up through this a little bit. Stop, start, basic fuel economy. You've got off-road, sway. If the sway bar is disconnected, it'll show you there. You would probably want to have this queued up if you were doing serious off-road stuff. Oil pressure, digital speedometer if you don't like to use the manual one. Fuel economy settings, so on and so forth. There's a ton of information that this can be custom to display exactly what you want to see. All right, that's it. This is the 2019 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Rubicon. I encourage you to stop in and take one for a test drive here in Bloomington. This vehicle, it's really two-in-one. It's a mild-mannered, nice cruising street vehicle with serious off-road capabilities. Check them out on bloomingtoncjd.com or stop in. We're on Penn Avenue, just south of 494, Monday through Saturday.